Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me here this afternoon. My name is Nilolaos Rittas. I'm head of software engineering at Amdocs. I'm here today to talk about processes that are essential to digitally transform of a business and about using the right technologies to achieve that. To give you a background, Amdocs is a global leader operating in the fields of modernization, digitization, and automation of the media and telecommunications industry. We're a multinational corporation having around 30,000 employees with a presence in 90 countries. We hold the top market position since over 3 billion people, 3.1 actually, are touched by our platforms. We help those who make the future amazing. As we move ahead, I'm going to share with you our experience of digital transformation, both for our internal services and services provided by our customers. This is what we actually do with my team, automating engineering services on mobile networks. Networks that are constantly evolving. Since the first analog network launched years before, there has been a continuous race to provide better network services, better user experience, new abilities, new characteristics dictated by user requirements and application requirements, what is required for an application to run efficient over the network. At the same time, the network complexity is increasing to a point that you need more people, specialized people, to provide services of optimization, of maintenance, and operating the network. Nothing is free. But from the user perspective, service consumers don't care about the complexity or the underlying cost. Users always expect certain quality of service for texting, video streaming, driving home with their autonomous car, entering metaverse, and they always look to pay less for more. So the only way for a business to remain competitive in such an evolving world is to be transformed. Before going to the business transformation, I would like to give you a heads up of some changes that are going on in the telecom industry. For example, the traditional base station units that are at the top of the buildings with the antennas are going to change within the next decade with 5G and replace with conventional computers, and all the network logic will be network functions running on these computers. Also, the operators struggling to manage the huge amount of data that are coming, data that are related with users, user traffic, KPIs of the network, subscriptions, and they want to move these in data centers hosted by the hyperscalers, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and this is going to change a lot the game. Going back to the business transformation, a successful business transformation needs to start with a well-defined strategy and strong leadership commitment. This is very important. Culture needs to be agile and adapt to the changes, keeping open the communication channels. People need to talk. They need to accept the change. These first two steps of strategy of the company and leadership commitment are very important. I will deep dive in the process optimization in more detail, but also I want to mention that data, maturity of data, and the use of data driving our decisions and driving the applications are very important. Technologies, okay, we all like new technologies, needs to be used, but not as a hype. Also, team Also, team restructure. There are new structures required. Maybe a center of excellence in the first step of the transformation is very important. And of course, the results. Everything we do, any change we do, needs to focus on the expected results. I'll give you an example. Think that you're a coach of a track and field athlete, and you want to improve his performance. What are the actions that you have to do? What is required? So you'll find out that it depends. It depends on his current skill level. It's different what you have to do when you talk about an entry-level athlete or a world-class champion. So the first thing is to identify the level of the process that we want to improve. And this is the business process maturity. There are models built the last 20 years by different companies, Gartner, Forrester, Carnegie Mellon University. Many individual researchers came with a model for business maturity. And what we do with my team when we go to a company and trying to optimize what they have, we need first to identify their current level. I picked this one from Gartner. It's, I would say, a simplistic approach. And what you can see here are steps. There is not an ocean of unlimited paths and options that you can go from zero to hero. It's always a specific steps that needs to be followed in a sequence in order to have the business transformed into a 4.0 industry. And the first step to do is to acknowledge that things need to be improved. Things are not looking good. We can do better. This is very important. And then we need to understand the current process. In a project delivery, there are multiple stakeholders, managers, business analysts, subject matter experts, data analysts, developers, and you need to talk with all of them to identify what they're doing, what's the process of executing a project. We rarely find things documented, and more rarely have a single point of contact, a process owner. And there are about like 30% of processes that are very structured. 70% of the processes are unstructured and we cannot modelize. Or we need to have like new methods to modelize them. This is where process mining and process discovery techniques come in handy. These techniques are using events recorded by anything we do. We can record user events created on his desktop. We can record the application. We can get application logs and have all these events available. And from these events, having a specific, like a timestamp, a case ID, and an activity type, we can reconstruct the whole process. So we know what's the working process of that we need to optimize. And then we can modelize that in a standardized way, like using BPMN or something similar, and simulate and further involve. We need to continuously monitor the process with analytics, identifying some KPIs, important KPIs, like the process cycle, the rework of some tasks, the task duration, and we can run forecasting on this and also simulate what's going on, like in some cases, run some case studies. Now, when we know the process, we start automating things. And it can start from simple automation or hyper-automation. Hyper-automation or intelligent automation refers to the automation that manages to produce results using human activities, like vision, execution, conversational thinking and learning. Technologies that can help us on that in this stage are low-code platforms. These low-code platforms consist of a workflow engine, IBPMS, a decision engine, and RPAs, robotic process automations. 7 to 5 years back, everybody believed that, okay, with this technology, all the problems will be solved, that will manage to automate everything. That was not true, but a lot of improvement achieved with these platforms, and we're still using that. We're still using that, having not developers writing code, rather than citizen developers with domain experience and low scripting skills. They can write the scripts there. They don't care about DevOps things and all this, so it works. But it cannot be scaled up. Maybe it's not efficient and cannot be reused in other customers. Chatbots promise to replace human communication, and they did it in a fair level. There's a lot of room for improvement for chatbots. And machine learning, okay? The golden bullet can solve any issue. Not true, because there's a golden rule. Whatever you can solve with decisions, with rules, actual rules, there's no need to have machine learning. Nevertheless, you can use models produced by machine learning to identify data patterns, anomalies, predict, optimize, and recommend what you have to do in your next steps. Things start to be really complicated when we have multiple processes from different departments that we need to have them working together. In a large organization, there are multiple processes, and we need to orchestrate them. And here's when the mess starts. For a network operator, for example, I can think of different departments like the land property department, that they have the antennas and the physical location with GIS systems, the legal department with all the contracts, B2C, B2B, the finance department, accounting, everything is there, subscriptions of service consumers, network data, control plane, like KPIs of the network, and actually what's the actual use from the users, what services they're using. All these data are collected by the operators, are available, but are not used with the optimum way. So there's an imperative need for end-to-end orchestration of this data, and this can be achieved through an integration fabric layer. That can be like a data fabric or an iPaaS integration platform as a service. This will provide connectivity between different applications, connecting through like a common API format, or having data access through a Spark, let's say, or a graph database that has a way to connect the data. And when we have all this data connected, that is not so common, we don't find that in the operators even now, we need to continuously improve what we have. And there must be a validation, evaluation control established to do that. So we need to continuously measure, analyze, and automate. This is a cycle that has to go on all the time. And the end goal is the creation of an agile business structure with a powerful digital operation toolbox. Intelligent automation is keep evolving. This means that we need to be ready to accept new changes and be ready to incorporate new methods and technologies. So with this, I think I'm reaching the end. And if we have any questions. Thank you. For process discovery, we're using a Python package called PM4Py. It's quite powerful, it's open source, and it's Python. 5 lines of code, you can do anything. For workflow system, we're having an instance, let's say, of Camunda BPMN, and we have a version written in Node.js that we develop in-house. And for, let's say, the automations, we are using Fusion.io that has serverless functions that you can write Python or Node.js code, low code, to be executed anywhere.
Any more questions? No? Well, okay, thank you. Thank you, Nikos.
Thank you all.
Thank you.